Hello everyone, and welcome to our weather update on Saturday, May 16th, 2026. So, we are now, halfway through May, and we've had quite a chilly first half to May. And, good news is that it's likely to change over the coming week, but we will still have our fair share of wet weather. This morning we have an area of low pressure over parts of Denmark and Norway, and that's bringing in a cool northerly airflow. However, it is easing off as this front pushes in from the west. This quite long line of clouds that is bringing in some patchy rain and drizzle into parts of Ireland. Some showers off the coast of England, and these are thundery. Actually, this morning, quite interestingly, but those should move eastwards into the Low Countries and not impact the UK. It is clear and sunny for many areas of eastern UK. However, cloud is spilling in quite readily from the west. And that will introduce a change to westerly winds and less cold temperatures, and winds might even go more southerly towards the end of the week. So this is the high-rise forecast, as we know from UKV, so let's get on with it. So you've got this patchy light rain this morning pushing in from the west. That'll move over Ireland this morning, clearing into the Irish Sea by lunchtime and into Wales, Western England by early afternoon. Behind that, we'll see sunshine and a few showers, and before that rain moves in over parts of the UK, we'll see sunshine, but that will give way to some more clouds. Eventually, the rain pushes across many areas of Wales, England, and Scotland by evening. And yeah, so that band of rain just tracks its way quite slowly but surely eastwards over the UK. It could get stranded though towards Scotland, so that rain band lingering quite a while there, just giving a lot of damp, misty, drizzly weather overnight into tomorrow morning. And that front will just sort of linger through the day, unfortunately, over parts of the Northern Isles. For Ireland, we'll see a rash of showers pushing in, some heavy and thundery with hail. And for the UK, some showers, especially in the west. Again, some heavy and thundery with hail. Speaking of showers, we've had a lot of showers this week gone by, especially through Wednesday, Thursday, and in some areas on Friday. Some big downpours, some cold air aloft, about -1 or even down to -2 at 850 HPA, and on the surface temperatures up towards mid-teens Celsius. So we've got that big temperature gradients, and that has made the air, these warm air parcels very buoyant, and we've had these big cumulus and CB clouds just blossoming everywhere, and it's been quite an epic week. I saw a thunderstorm actually with hail on Thursday, and that was quite an experience, quite epic indeed. Going through into tomorrow, so we could see some more of that weather tomorrow with these big downpours coming in from the west. Now, into Monday, we see some more showers forming over parts of England. Again, some heavy, possibly with hail and thunder, especially in the east. Drier for Wales, Midlands, into the west of England as well, and Scotland. But that is before we see an area of rain edging in from the west through Monday evening. Now this is coming in from the west-southwest, so we've got a milder air mass tied in with this. This goes through across all areas overnight into Tuesday morning, clearing into the North Sea by early afternoon on Tuesday to leave sunshine and quite heavy showers, again possibly with thunderstorms mixed in there across the heavier downpours, and where we see any lines of showers forming. Going through to Wednesday, we keep seeing this more southwesterly flow pushing in, so temperatures will rise, but as I did say, we'll be seeing our fair share of rain still. So a few showers on Wednesday, but overall quite drier. And by Thursday, well, I think Thursday is when we'll start to see things drying out as well as warming up, because we'll see a high pressure starting to build up from the east and south, and low pressures and the jet stream taking a more northerly track. Right, temperatures. So today we're still quite cool after quite a cold start in parts of Scotland. There you can see that. Well, today temperatures again like low teens at best further east and south. Sunday morning a bit milder, but again by afternoon temperatures like at best 14, 15 in parts of eastern England and also parts of the Midlands too. Cooler for the west and feeling cooler as well in those downpours. Monday again, maybe just a tad bit warmer across more areas on Monday, so more widely into the teens Celsius, maxing out maybe a localised 15 or 16 in parts of like Cambridgeshire, Peterborough sort of area. Right, this is Tuesday, so starting off milder on Tuesday with a more southwesterly wind and that warm front coming in, and by afternoon, well, temperatures actually getting towards the high teens for parts of eastern England, widely into the mid-teens. Now, Wednesday morning is mild. Wednesday afternoon, look at that, temperatures in Ireland like 15 to 19 degrees, warmest north of Dublin, and for the UK into the low 20 Celsius east of like say Kings Lynn, the area of the Wash, down towards London. And then, well, Thursday morning starts off mild again, and Thursday, with a drying trend and more sunshine, should be warmer than Wednesday. Right, here's the GFS. So, well, I must say that through the week, the models were kind of showing, like, big high pressure building up there from the Azores through towards the end of the week and into next weekend. This morning's runs, they've sort of backed off that a bit. So it's still warmer and drier, but not as warm and dry. So yeah, here we go. So you can see what's happening here. We have low pressure in charge still. This low was the culprit for the cold week this week. And then, yeah, westerly winds, showers through tomorrow, Sunday. More pressure in charge through the early part of the week, but notice the winds going more southwesterly, so temperatures will increase. And then Wednesday, Thursday, high pressure starts to ridge up into France, and that extends its influence into Ireland and the UK. And yeah, they see it by next Friday. We've got high pressure centred towards Germany, winds coming up from the south. Low pressure though is still to the west, and we've got quite warm air masses, but again you got showers threatening parts of the west, and these might be thundery given the warmth. GFS by Saturday actually breaks down that ridge with a trough, and that might bring a lot of showers, and then we end up with a deep low pushing in by Sunday. So, and then beyond that, just staying quite westerly, not too cold, not too warm, just about average late May weather. And by early June, we've got another sort of like chilly pattern setting up there. Jet stream coming right down from Greenland. Yeah, you've got that cold polar maritime air mass pulling in around that low. So I'll show you in comparison, I suppose, to yesterday morning's 6Z run. So you can see what happens here. The high pressure comes in, and you see a bit more conviction to that. A bit of a threat there to break it down next Saturday by that low, but that really is not a success. Some thunderstorms maybe into parts of the west at most with that, but staying warm and dry for most areas. And then into late May, well, the high pressure takes over completely. So we see a really warm and dry end to May, and only is it towards the end of May that like last few days that we see low pressure coming back. So yeah, it's been quite a shift, and yeah, this morning's GFS literally keeps that for a day at most in some areas. and a couple of days maybe for more eastern regions. Last night's ECM is like this. So again, you've got showers coming up for a few days. Then milder and wetter for a time next week. Thursday, we see high pressure coming up from the south. Bear in mind, this is from last night, so it might not have yet picked up on change. Friday, that's very warm and dry. A high pressure towards Denmark. Upper temperatures are warm, maybe a few showers into the west. But the ECM really strongly builds the high pressure into the weekend. That is a fine, dry, and warm weekend. Into Monday, maybe just a bit more of a westerly flow around that, but still overall dry and rather on the warmer side. This morning's midnight run gets us to Thursday. Thursday, Burridge Point, high pressure is building up from the south, bringing in these warmer air masses. We will come back to that at the end and see if it's updated more. Excuse me. Here is the UK Met run. UK Met. This is linked in with the UKV. So again, here we go. Please work. Yes, please work. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so showery through today, tomorrow, and then still very wet next week for a time. Going warmer though towards the end of the week as the high pressure does move in. By Thursday, it's centered to our east, and we're on the warm side of the high, wafting up those southerly winds. There we go. And then let's see what happens. So yeah, by Saturday we end up kind of. I think that will end up in us bringing that westerly wind in, because you see that is the those are the frames. You can see that we seem to be edging that low just a bit closer, which with each frame, and you can see the rain band already coming into parts of Ireland, and it is pushing eastwards there. But very warm for a time as well. Bit of a warmer plume, but probably not that long lived. Here's the GEM. GEM, by the way, I warn you, isn't good. So we end up going into this western pattern next week, and then you can see what happens here. GEM keeps it's at most a transient ridge on Thursday, and by Friday, well, all areas of Ireland and the UK are basically thrown back into deep low pressure systems. Like maybe the far southeast guessing by with a drier day or two, but look at that. So just barrel in these deep areas of low pressure, very strong winds from southwest. Yes, it'll be quite mild or warm, but just won't be that pleasant to be out and about in that. And then we just bring in that system, quite stormy actually there by that, yeah, but that's just May 25th, like that's ridiculous to have a storm coming through. I think that would be quite impactful if that did verify, but obviously it's 9 days away, probably won't verify. And then well, that clears through. Another high pressure tries to ridge in from the south, probably won't come off though, might do, but then that low is really deep into the west. So GEM is touch and go, but I must say though, from looking at that more closely, maybe if you're in southern England, that might not be too bad at times. And here is the icon. The icon, again, going wetter next week, very wet indeed. And then, well, next Thursday goes warmer with southerly winds. And then into Friday and the weekend, thundery trough comes through there. Maybe the high pressure tries to strengthen again behind that, but I'm not sure. Very deep low is to out west. That's very deep and probably gonna flatten off that high pressure. Arpege again with showery tomorrow, still in those cool westerly winds, so quite chilly indeed in some areas. Monday, Tuesday, see a change to warmer weather, well, milder at least, less cold, less chilly, but still with plenty of rain, not feeling too great. And then we end up next Wednesday. Not sure. Let's compare that to which one? ECM. ECM or G? Yeah, last night's ECM. Let's compare that to that. So Wednesday is that. Wednesday is this. So very similar, but I think that the ECM that we're looking at here is a bit better if you want high pressure. From last night, you can see that ridge a bit more ridgy, and you can see we're here. We got the lows a bit deeper, you know, and a bit. I think we'll end up dragging up this low in the end with that. From my opinion, from looking at the arpege frame, obviously we can't go beyond that because it only gets to there. But that's just my take on it there. Okay, so let's get back and see if the midnight run has gone up into the frame. Yes, it has. To Friday. Average point, it is warm and dry in many areas of the east, maybe into parts of Ireland, but we are threatened by this low. Let's compare that to the midnight run. So yeah, I think that the midnight run, guys, not midnight run, the 12th run is a bit better for warmer and drier. The midnight run has just things have shifted a bit further east, and that means that the lower is a bit closer to us, and therefore has a higher chance of dislodging the high pressure. Everyone, thanks for watching. Yes, it's been again quite a cold and chilly first half to May. Some very epic storms around, some showers, some hail showers. I remember back towards the start of May, the long range GFS was showing like high pressure towards the end of May. It looks like it was going to verify, but now it's starting to fall apart a bit. Oh god! Everyone, thanks for watching. We'll see what happens. You know, next week I might be saying, okay, guys, we have a warmer spell, or guys, enjoy the one day of sunshine. We're back to stormy weather. It's all possible. Everyone, thanks for watching. I'll see you. Bye for now.